Hi, everyone. I'm Laura Jean. I'm a business coach based out of Toronto, and I help women all over the place build 6- and 7-figure businesses. And I'm here with Karen Porter, my dear friend and holistic nutritionist and wellness coach. And she's amazing. I've known her for a little over a year now, and I've seen her building her business and growing. She has been speaking on stages and really rocking it. And since COVID hit, she's been moving everything online and really getting out there, and she's been featured on breakfast television, global TV, and CP24. So I definitely wanted to talk to Karen about the secret to her success. Karen, I think you can explain a little bit better how you help women.
Sure. Yeah. So I love to help women to feel their absolute best. And it's not just physically in their bodies, but also mentally. So our mental health, as you know, especially right now, is so important. And really how we, what we eat, how we move, how we manage our stress, all of those things have so much to do with how we feel in our bodies and our minds. So it's so important. So yeah, I love to help women feel vibrant, happy, and just great in their bodies and their minds.
Amazing. And you're right, they're so connected. My gosh. I mean, so what do you think is the main secret to your success as an entrepreneur and as a well-rounded human being?
So, I really kind of pinpointed 3 things for myself that have really been the key to my success. I'm going to say that the first one is really, comes from family. My father was, a very successful entrepreneur, and that work ethic was really instilled in me at a very young age. And so there's 3 kids, and even though I didn't start as an entrepreneur, all 3 of us are currently entrepreneurs. So that's kind of neat how we all evolved. And really, my mom is the background to how I show up in the world. So it's really, putting my best face forward, and, presenting myself in such a way, and my environment. For me, it's really important to have a beautiful, peaceful surrounding. And so when I'm working with women, especially in groups of women, that like I do at my retreats, I love to have that beautiful environment. So that's kind of been the influence of my mom and dad. I'm going to say my second thing is really, I'm always open to learning and investing in myself. I think that's important for any entrepreneur, really anybody. And I don't really think of it as self-help, although, it certainly can be. It's really self-development. And I think I'm very open to continuing to develop myself that way and push myself outside of my comfortable boundaries. In fact, I enjoy doing that. So, I worked last year with the first person you interviewed, Odette Peak, to really help me with my speaking. This year, I was working with, or have been working with, a media coach, and really just pushing myself again to do things that I hadn't done before. And even she said to me, "You're such an amazing student." And I said, "Why?" And she said, "You're always willing to do the work. So it's just always showing up, taking advice, but, working really hard with that." And then I'm going to say the last thing that I would, chalk success up to is, I'm not a nutritionist who always loved healthy food, or who always loved cooking. In fact, I wouldn't have defined myself as that at all. But it's really because of my history that got me into this, and my real drive that makes me want to continue to do it. So I dealt with a huge weight gain at pregnancy, which some women do, but I really had to struggle to get that off, and then even went up and down after that. But my biggest thing was, or biggest things really, were the almost 30 years that I spent with severe IBS, so digestive issues, as well as severe bouts of anxiety and depression. And as you know, Laura Jean, my depression was suicidal. In fact, I wrote the note that said, "I love you all. I'm so sorry." On, I think, 4 occasions. And I was really, really fortunate that each time I was not successful, and I had the support of my husband and my family and those around me. And it was really after the last time that I said, I have to heal. So whatever I need to do, whatever it takes, I'm going to get there. And so for me, it really started out with the food and really cleaning up the way that I ate, and making the connection that the food that I was fueling my body with was really how I was going to feel, not just energy wise, but happiness wise, and with more focus and clarity. So, it began with the food, but then it evolved to the mindset, and how I could see that changing the way I looked at food and my body really made a difference in how I would continue to make these changes. And then it was really lifestyle. So having the non-negotiable of exercise to some extent, as well as stress management. So those are all the things that I call my recipe to success for my health, physical and mental, as well as how I help my clients. So yeah, those are my areas of success.
Holy, so much in there. It's, I've known you, over a year, and I only ever have seen you like you are now, just, completely radiating health. So when I first heard about your depression and how severe it was and the suicide attempts, I was so completely shocked. I just can't even picture you like that. So,
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're where you are now. And I just feel like for your clients, it gives, there's no, it's just such authenticity. Like, you've arrived at your calling so, authentically,
Right.
that, I feel like you are so uniquely positioned to help women who are dealing with similar issues. So I'm curious, when you say work ethic, does that apply to when you mentioned work ethic, like in your first point about entrepreneurship, but it sounds like it also applies to your non-negotiables about taking care of your health. Are those two things really intertwined in a way?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. A strong work ethic, just, I would say, goes to how I apply myself in the world. So whether it's my work or it's just looking after myself, they definitely are intertwined. And, I know that from the other, from the flip side of it. So when I was stressed out at work and started my spiral down, it didn't just affect my work. Like, I couldn't just say quit my job and then be okay, right? Like, because it affects everything. So it's just a spiral of everything. And so, as I said, on the positive side, yes, they're all, for sure, they're all intermingled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you mentioned a beautiful environment, having like a beautiful, peaceful environment, and they're at your cottage, which I've been lucky enough to be at twice, and I've attended your retreats, and they're amazing. Do you want to tell us a bit about what you do on your retreats and how that helps women kind of reset, I guess, or start looking at food and themselves differently?
Sure, for sure. So we, one of the things that's different about my retreat is that you don't just eat healthy food. I actually bring everyone into the kitchen with me. I don't pull anybody, unwillingly. But, you know, I bring women into the kitchen with me and get you hands on in, you know, in making the delicious foods, so that when you go home, you know what you enjoyed, you know, have an idea of how to make it, and then you can continue doing those things. And really, it's just exposure to some of the ingredients that you maybe aren't currently using, and some of the recipes. So the cooking aspect is important, but as I said before, working on mindset and having some movement in the weekend, doing yoga a couple days in a row, going on a nature hike. Those are all, you know, feeding our mind, body, and soul. So those are the things that I love to do, as well as some stress management. So I do some meditation. We work through some meditation and just different mindfulness techniques as well. So yeah, and right now, because of the quarantine, unfortunately, I can't do the retreats in person. I am doing one this Friday, which is kind of a mini retreat. I call it a virtual cottage mini retreat on Living Radiantly. And so although you don't get to eat the food that I've made, you know, women, if they wish to, can participate and you know, and make it themselves. So we're doing that part in the kitchen, but then I'm going to be at the cottage and going outside and encouraging women to, you know, to go outside as well. So you don't feel like you're, you know, taking another Zoom course where you're sitting, you know, in your office at the computer all day. So, or not all day, it's 3.5 hours, but.
Oh, cool. Okay, great.
Yeah.
We'll include information about that mini retreat, and also where people can find out about when retreats are up and going again.
Yes.
So retreats at the cottage, because that is an experience not to be missed. It's so, it's just amazing. It was such a great reset for me, for sure. And a nice mix of structured activity. So it just wasn't laying around the entire time, but it definitely was enough time to lay around and just chill and relax and just have conversation with the other guests. And then also get off my butt and go for a hike and stuff, which I was glad I did. Afterwards, it's always a bit like, oh man, really, a hike? Okay.
I had a group in the winter, I think that was February, and you know, there was lots of snow, but it was beautiful, but it was really super cold. And one of the women, you know, was really wanting to decline the hike because we'd been out the night before and it was really chilly. And, you know, I kind of persuaded her, and I could not get the smile off her face. She was doing snow angels, and it was just like, oh my gosh, what, you know, what a difference.
Yeah.
You know, someone not wanting to do it and then absolutely loving it. So
that's amazing. And you do, I don't know what you have currently planned of these, but you've done couples retreats, you've done your one-day in-person retreat. So there's lots of different ways, even if people aren't up for the whole 3-day weekend at your cottage, there's lots of ways they can get a taste of living their life radiantly through what you offer.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
Sure.
Okay, amazing. Yeah. And any other, so let's recap your tips to success. It was work ethic.
My mom was in there too on the, you know, how I present myself.
And sort of a lifestyle thing from your mom about like a peaceful environment and stuff like that. So definitely your parents influenced it. You're always learning. That's such an important one. Always learning and investing in yourself, right? That's so important. And what was number 3?
Oh, just my life story. What, you know, what got me into doing what I do. And like I said before, I didn't used to love to cook. But when I started changing up the way I was eating, it just got more, you know, became more of what I wanted to do, because I really made the connection to how it made me feel. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, people say, oh, but you're a good cook. Well, no, anybody can be a cook, and it doesn't really have to be involved. I mean, I do some things that I love to do for company, but I'm not always cooking like that, right? I do a lot of things that are quick and easy, you know, and help women get healthy food into their bodies deliciously. Yeah.
I think part of your success is you found your calling. So, or your calling found you, maybe because you really needed to heal yourself.
Right.
And so
Yes.
there's just kind of no escaping from it. It's like you're really on fire with your passion because of what it means to you. And you know how
Right.
much it means to other women when you help them achieve the same. So
Right.
that is
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, great. Well, thank you. We're right at the 15-minute mark. We're doing great for
Oh,
time. And it was so much fun talking to you. It's so nice to see you there at your cottage. And I'll be sure to include all the links so people can find you and find out more about what you do, and have an awesome day.
yes, you too. Oh, and I've got some great recipes on my website as well, on my homepage. Yeah. So,
Awesome. Okay, great. Yeah, we'll get
okay.
all those links clearly done so people can find them. And that's great.
Okay. Nice chatting
Okay.
with you, Lardine.
Nice to chat with you
Bye.
too. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
So that was good.